you don't talk the talk, you walk the walk. When you said you were doing your research, you went with cops on the ride-alongs, and you said your attitude kind of changed because you were like, yo, this is not an easy job. You know what I'm saying? Like what and I remember the story that you said, Roland, about showing up and somebody OD'd, and you were like, yo, let's go get drinks on me. And they're like, what are you talking about, bro? We still got to finish the job. Out of all the ride-alongs, what was like the craziest thing that you saw that you were like, oh my God, because you went through simulation too, correct?
Yeah. It was the busting in the row house and watching someone OD. Yeah, man, that was Oof. It's not every day you see that up in Cambridge, thank goodness. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was crazy, but it did. I think because given what's happened with in the relationship with police. People aren't talking enough about their own the police mental health. That's something I'm very, very interested in. We have all this data out there from body cam footage and other data. We should be developing predictive models that say, hey, this thing's going to escalate because in the past, this is what it looked like before someone did something that was against, policy. So can we have predictive models to figure that stuff out? I mean, I think it's a really, really hard job, and it's hard not to. I'm embarrassed, but it's hard not to see everyone. I mean, as a criminal, you're out there like an Uber driver, just chasing around, going, "What are you doing? What is that person doing?"
Yeah.
And on the other side, when you roll down the street, people just stop and start scattering, right?
Exactly.
And so it's two sides to it, and that was probably the best education I'd gotten since my grandmother taught me how to read. Was going around with the police and understanding. There's what they see relative to what I thought was going on.
Long term, what are you solving for? Long term, like, are you aspirational? Is it, hey man, just leave me alone. Let me teach. Let me write some papers. Let me do my thing. Let me be a father. Let me be a husband. Let me do my thing, and I'm enjoying my life. I have no aspiration for anything else outside for being a professor and getting to the bottom of certain articles and issues that I'm interested in. What's long term? What are you solving for long term?
No, I'm bad at all those things you mentioned because of my real aspiration, which is to fundamentally change the trajectory for minorities in America. Maybe that's too aspirational, but that's it. It is. My grandmother used to say, "Why do you work so hard? You're killing yourself," et cetera. And I said, when we believe that the market for talent is perfect, I'll stop. I don't take days off. I haven't had a vacation in more than a decade. I work Christmas Day because I am absolutely on a mission to ensure that everyone's got a fair shot at this thing.
What are your thoughts with affirmative action?
The details matter when it comes to affirmative action, right? So I'm sure I benefited from it, and I needed it. I was a hot mess when I showed up on a college campus, and there was more potential than my test scores would have shown because of what it took to get those test scores. Now, my daughters, if my daughters need affirmative action, it's not because they face systemic bias, it's because they suck, right? Like we put everything into them. Right, I'm sitting, this morning, getting ready to come here. My wife texts me a link to a video with my 7-year-old playing the piano. It was awful. And I thought to myself, see, every passion is explored. Club soccer, piano, horseback riding. They're bad in them all.
But you can eat brie cheese like a champ.
Like a champ.
Yeah.
Trust me, okay? Trust me.
Yeah.
But we do everything we can to make sure that whatever passion they have is watered, is nurtured. And so and they go to the best schools that we can afford. And so if they get to the end of that journey and they need lower standards, that is not okay, right? Now, on the other hand, if you take a kid from the inner cities or from Iran or wherever in the world, and they have slightly lower test scores but went through the shit to get them, that person's got more talent. And if you put them in a university and free them up from those constraints of their community and maybe their neighborhood, maybe even their own parents, I believe they can flourish. So for me, it is all about finding people with the highest latent talent. And that doesn't always show up in test scores. So having this blind, like I just take the person with the highest SAT, I think that's wrong too. On the other hand, taking people who are from affluent families with low test scores who haven't had that kind of struggle, that's also wrong. And so I think it is all about the details, and the way we're doing it now is just lazy. It's not correct.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.